Well, let's talk just ESG just for a second. It sounds so good. Environment, social, governance. Governance is a good thing. When you tell your client, really what you're doing is divesting from all fossil fuels, so you're eliminating fossil fuels. Right. And everybody will have to drive an electric car if you can afford it. And we want to teach social justice, critical race theory in every corporation, in every school, everywhere, and you're going to fund that.
That's right.
And we want to have a quota, a gender quota in every company, so that the board is made up of not the most qualified people, but we want to make sure there's a certain number of this minority and so many women and so many LGBTQ. How would your clients react to if they sold it that way? Because that's what it is.
Yeah, it does change the whole, it resets the whole table. It also allows the advisor, assuming they're believers and they understand the issues, it allows them to advise and act and interact with their clients from a authentic, this is who I am, this is what I believe, and this is how I act, and it plays out in my practice this way. And so I do know that
Gosh, imagine that. An authentic advisor being him or herself, sharing this is how I believe, telling their clients that, gosh, you can't do that.
Well, and we have data on that, could support all that the clients want that, and they're even willing to look past what, did I get the maximum return on my investment? Because they're more inclined to say, is it promoting the values that I believe in?
And for the advisors, I do have sympathy for many of them. If they're with the big houses, they are under incredible, pressure to conform. Mm-hmm. And so it's one of the reasons that I left a long, long time ago because I was unwilling to conform.
Yeah.
So that's the role of that registered investment advisor. Now we've also had some from the bigger houses that let's say, you know what? My loyalty is to my client. Yep. And even though I have to do certain things within the guidelines of the corporate policy, these are big broker names, so I don't want anybody to be discouraged if you're with one of those groups out there.
If they're good size, then they will leave them alone more. It's the smaller, the ones that are starting there.
And the thing that I believe that they will see is if they get this right, they get this messaging right and this positioning right, their business is going to grow. Yeah. And at the end of the day, these big brokers, that's what they really care about. So that's a clear piece that's going to appeal to whether you're with a big house or an RIA.
That's right.
But it's any NSIC advisor we get, we want to make sure is focused on that client first.
Yeah.
And that's what makes for a great relationship that exists out there. And I think the other thing, when we talk about investing, you talked about getting out of China, getting out of Russia, things that are certainly against those values. We also see from a client perspective, people saying, yeah, but I still like this stock. I had one client the other day, I've had Williams Company stock for years. I don't want to have to sell that. I was like, well then don't sell it because there's some policy or something you don't like. So it's that salt and a light approach that Kevin's talked about before.
Vote your proxies.
We can filter or we can make sure our voice and our agenda is heard. And that's what gives Main Street America our voice back on Wall Street, our voice back in Washington, D.C.
Do you vote your client proxies?
Yes.
Yeah, that's unusual and it's powerful.
Yeah. But back to your point, there are so many things that we can do to impact. And each one of us are many times called to different things, but we don't ever want to underestimate the value of one of those things because, that shareholders that are going to come in and they're going to actually advocate and fight, even though they might be opposed to what the company's doing, but they're staying inside there so that they can take